Hello, my name is Kev from dataSights, and in this video we're going to be talking about sync. So what is a sync? Essentially it's copying the data or moving the data from your source systems, whether that's Xero, Pipedrive, one of the 100 source systems we connect to, and then we are copying essentially via an API that data to your dedicated cloud database so you have access to all of your data. So you would have already gone and created your database, you would have already gone and connected your source systems. So after that, it is time to set up a sync. So you'll see a few of these are paused. This is just demo data, so yeah, don't worry about that. But as you can see here, we do have some, no, it's all just demo data. So let's set up a new one, all right. So if we focus on Xero first, you can see here that we've got a Xero sync type. So if we go and we find Xero, and we already have a Xero sync, so that copies everything. And then we've got a concept of a subsync. Now these differ per connector, but essentially what we're doing is then copying a subset of the data so they're being copied more regularly. So let's go and set up a Xero trial balance sync. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we want this daily at 2 a.m., something along those lines. Select the time zone that makes sense for you. And that's it. From here, once this line appears in our syncs, we can go and pause it. We can go and edit any details about it. We can go and delete it. And we can, most importantly, go and trigger a refresh now. So here, it depends on the subsync here, in the connector, but most of the time there's just a trigger button. If there are any available options, then we will go and trigger that refresh. Now, whilst the sync is going on, you'll see that we aren't allowed to make any changes to it. So what a normal sort of situation is, especially for Xero, is to leave like a full overnight sync going. We could enable, for example, the deasync by doing that. That's one little thing there. But anyway, coming back to it, so with Xero, we could set up a overnight Xero sync. We then will set up a smaller sync, subsync, like the Xero trial balance sync. What that means is that during the day, if there's a change in the source system, you can come in, refresh, retrigger just that subset of data and get that quickly into your reporting platform. So just on that note, like it's very common example to have a full deasync, and then we could go up and set up a dear product availability, which is basically like your stock levels, and we could set this to come in at sort of 10 a.m. And over here, and from there hit save and off you go. It will now sync at 10 a.m. during the day, and that sync will also then be available to refresh there. So it is pretty common though to leave the main one going, and then to go and pause maybe the subsyncs, or go and set them to sync at say 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 a.m., all the rest of it. To enable multiple syncs per day, we have made it intentionally a little bit challenging, because essentially this is, I guess, what you call a super user option. From here, we use these things called cron expressions. If I wanted to say sync at 7, 8, 9, give it a break over lunch, 1, 2, 3, something along those lines, then we would go and copy this here. As a little bit of a validation here, we can go and describe the expression here, and we'll say it's going to fire 0 seconds, 0 minutes at 7 a.m. 9 p.m. of every day. We could go and say, look, we only want this to happen on specific days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and automatically that will go and be extending this set of instructions over here. If we go and describe that expression, then we can go and say, okay, it's going to fire there, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We can then take this and go and put it in over here, and now that will fire over there. I would say please get in touch, because there are limitations around each connector and each API, and even different data within each API. So you don't want to be doing like going, okay, go and set it every 1 minute, because realistically that's not going to be possible. So feel free to email, phone call, raise a request, get in touch and say, hey dataSights team, we're looking to sync from X connector. We would like our data as often as possible. What is realistic? Like, what are we, able to really be allowed to do from the API? And another question we'll ask is, where are you looking at this data? If it's in Excel, then you can pull it in any time. If it's in Power BI dashboards, for example, those can actually only refresh at certain times. So we sort of have to time it in between. Probably getting a little bit too involved here, but it is what it is. We're here to support, and we're absolutely here to make sure that you can maximize your data frequency and refreshes, so that you have access to, as up-to-date data as possible. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.